Hi, hello, welcome to the Friday update. So, today we're going to run through what I've been reading this week, what I'm going to read, videos that have gone on the channel, and any kind of non bookish stuff that I've been enjoying. So, let's dive right into things so that we can get this show on the road. So, last week, I can't remember whether I talked about this in last week's update or not, but you'll have seen the review that's come up on the channel. I finished Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. I finished that on the 29th, which was the same day I published my weekly update. So I don't know if I had finished it by the time that I posted that or not. I think I had because I had started Voices of War. So for anyone who missed Voice of War, by Zach Argyle. So if you missed the YouTube short that I put up, I did decide to shelve Voice of War because I got a little intimidated by the size of this pile of Stephen King books, which isn't even all of the Stephen King books that I'm reading this month. There's still two more for me to pick up. So I was like, I'm going to get these out of the way and then I can go back to reading other stuff. And when I say get them out of the way, I was really excited to start reading because I haven't read a Stephen King book in a year since I read Fairy Tale last year. And I was really interested in reading some of his mystery stuff, especially because I'd heard that they were good. And also, there's two TV shows based on two of these books. So I thought it might be a fun thing for the channel that I could watch the show and then also compare the shows to the books. So if you'd be interested in that, pop a comment down below and I'll make sure to prioritise some time to watch Mr. Mercedes and The Outsider. But let's talk about what else I've been reading, which is Mr. Mercedes. So I just finished this book about 10 minutes ago. Wanted to kind of sit down, have a think, type up a few thoughts, and I'll be recording the review later tonight, which we'll post on Monday. But I will give you a few upfront thoughts in that I absolutely loved it. One of my favourite books I've read in a while. I've really loved all the characters. I think King has this incredible way of making you just completely bond with a character, like immediately. Like, for example, in the intro, you meet a character called Augie, and within, minutes, I already felt like I knew this character. I felt quite attached to him pretty much instantly. And I think you get a lot of that with Bill and with Jerome, Holly, and Janie. All of those characters have such personality, and they're all so different, and they're all so lovable in their own ways. So I'm really excited to see more Bill and more Holly. So I'm looking forward to reading my next book. So we're already speeding ahead into what I'm going to be reading next, which is Finders Keepers. So I'll read you the blurb for this one, or not. Where's the blurb? The library one. This is quite a long one. Oh, so this is about. I did read this one. So this one is about someone who is a fan of a reclusive author, like a super fan, but also kind of has some murderous tendencies. So I'm genuinely really excited to read this one. One of my friends who's read every Stephen King book and loves them all has said that Finders Keepers is his favourite of the Bill Hodges trilogy. So if that's the best one of the trilogy, then I'm even more excited to read it. What am I going to read after that? Well, I think that it's probably pretty obvious, but I'm going to be reading End of Watch. And after End of Watch, I'm going to be reading The Outsider. And then after that, I will be looking for a copy of If It Bleeds, which is the short story collection that the title story, If It Bleeds, is the first book story starring Holly Gibney. And then after that, I'll be buying Holly or getting Holly from the library, wherever, hopefully library. If not, I've seen a couple of reasonably priced copies, so I'll probably end up just buying it. I really, really enjoyed Mr. Mercedes, and I don't feel like Stephen King is one of those writers that I get tired of his style, because I find him so readable, so bingeable. Like, for example, I read Mr. Mercedes in literally just over 24 hours. I think I picked up the book yesterday, lunchtime, and I finished it about 6:30 tonight. And that was, while working, both days I was working full days, so that shows you how much time I was pushing into it. As any second I got, I was trying to read it, and that wasn't even out of obligation to the channel. That was purely the thing I wanted to do most, was read that book. So there you go. I'll talk, as I said, a little bit more about it in the future, because I will record a review later this evening, and I'll post that on Monday. But I do have to watch Loki season 2 with my wife first, which I've also been really looking forward to. So that one, I'll probably be tired. So what went up on the channel this week? We had 1, 2, 3 videos. This one will be the 4th, and 1 short. I don't know if it counts as 3 videos, because I did technically publish 4, but one of them was the 3rd video with no sound. Don't know why that happened. I went into DaVinci Resolve, changed no settings, clicked export in the exact same way I normally do, and the video came out with sound. So probably something went wrong with encoding the video the first time, or something like that. Thanks very much to everyone who pointed it out, because whilst I do check the videos through, I actually tend to check them in the editor rather than the outputted video. So maybe it's time for me now to start checking the video on YouTube before I make it live, which does make sense, and I probably should be doing that anyway. So, videos published this week. On the 2nd of October, I published my review of Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. Really, really good book. I really enjoyed it. It was really cool to see Rob shout me out on Twitter as well, which was really nice. Then after that, I had my October TBR video, so just telling you guys about the Holly Gibney-thon, where I read all of Stephen King's books that have got a Holly Gibney appearance, so that I can then read Holly. Thinking, 6 books, that could be a lot, but having already read one in just over a day, I think that I should be okay to read all of them this month, unless something mad happens. I am planning to spend a lot of time playing the new Spider-Man game on the 20th, that comes out on the 20th, but I'm hoping to have done enough reading and to have batch recorded some videos, so that there won't be an interruption in the content flow by that point. The next one I did was the book problems tag, and I was tagged by Read by Fred. I really enjoyed making the tag, and it came at a great time, because I really wanted to do something like a tag video, but I kind of had like a list of possible video ideas, and none of them were ones that I could do without spending a little bit of time on research and writing up some notes. Whereas the book problems tag, I could just sit down, record it, and post it. And as you probably could tell by the fact that it went up silent and not particularly well reviewed on my end, I did not have much time when I was putting that together. I have since re-uploaded it, and I have since re-uploaded it, and you can listen to it with sound, and I will be a little bit more careful in my booktube videos from now on. So next coming up next week on the channel, so there will be a Mr. Mercedes review. I'm going to try and watch the Mr. Mercedes show, although there are 2 seasons of it, so that could actually be quite a lot of hours of television which I might not have time to watch. So maybe I'll watch a few episodes and we'll see. Next, obviously we have Finders Keepers, and then I am looking at putting together a video which is comic book recommendations for sci-fi readers, because I say recommendations, a comic book recommendation for sci-fi readers. So I did a recommendation for fantasy readers when I talked about The Last God, but I'd really like to do one for sci-fi readers, and then I don't know where I'll go after there. Maybe I'll do like a thriller one or a horror one, and then I'll come back to fantasy. I want to vary this up, but the comics for fantasy readers video is my most successful video that isn't like a top 10 list. The Last God video is like the most successful video I've made that isn't like a list video. So obviously that means that people in my audience and not in my audience are interested in reading that one, watching that one, or reading the comic. So I do think it's something that I will prioritise doing, but that is one of the video ideas that I said and requires a bit of reading and note-taking. So I've been reading through a bunch of sci-fi comics recently to see if I can find a good short one to recommend, and I am hopeful to have something for you guys next week. So hopefully sci-fi video will be my Tuesday video, which, as I said, is kind of a non-current reading video. So that can be tags, that can be like features. So if you're talking about like looking at like kind of like magazine articles, it's like previews, features, tags, listicles, things like that aren't like the proper reviews or wrap-up content. And then hopefully next week there'll be a review of Finders Keepers. If I can finish that in the same sort of time as Mr. Mercedes, and it is the weekend this weekend, so I do have a bit more reading time on the weekends. Maybe I'll be able to finish that one as well and film that when I film some stuff on Sunday. I usually do some batch filming Sunday evenings. So hopefully that will all come together. Off the book stuff. So outside of books, pretty much this week, I have been reading. Outside of books, I've been reading. I have been reading some comics. Like I said, I've been reading a lot of sci-fi stuff to try and find something that I think is the best recommendation. I am leaning towards The Omega Men by Tom King, as that is a really excellent sci-fi book, and it's basically about a group of religious extremists, but they're kind of like the heroes of the story. It's genuinely really interesting. I love the book. I haven't read it for a couple of years, but when I was reading around some sci-fi stuff, I was like, oh, I like this, but I don't think I like it as much as Omega Men. So I think I'm probably going to go back and reread Omega Men so that I can do a really good, strong feature on it. And I've also continually been playing Starfield. I had to force myself. I say force myself. I had to put like a personal ban on playing it until I'd read some more books, because it was genuinely getting in the way of my book reading. Before I got Mr. Mercedes, I was like looking over at my Kindle and picking my Xbox controller up in the evenings, which, like, I love games and I love playing on my Xbox, but I also like to have like a balance in my hobbies, and also Xbox stuff does not help me with this channel, which is a really, really big fun hobby of mine that I'm really enjoying. So lots of factors going into the point that I, at the moment, don't want to be obsessed with a video game. I would like to be able to pick games up, finish them, and put them down. Whereas with Starfield, I picked it up, I finished a storyline, I finished all the storylines, I finished the side stories, and then I was like, well, why don't I try and get all the achievements? So that's how obsessed I've been, and I think that even if I had all the achievements, I would probably still be working on other stuff that I want to do in that game. So yeah, that's how much I loved it. So it's a weird game because it's like a proper 7 out of 10. There's so many issues with it, but I think that it just caught me in the right way, and I became obsessed with it. So I won't talk more that much more about Starfield, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. And I've not seen any movies or watched any TV really this week. I've literally just been playing Starfield and then reading Mr. Mercedes and reading Voice of War, although I have shelved that. Like I said in the TBR video, I've picked up the audiobook because I'm trying to boost my time running at the moment. So having an audiobook that I really enjoy to listen to while I go for a run will be a really good motivator to get out there. I do have a non-fiction book as well that I'm reading on Audible, which is called Slugfest, and it's the history of the rivalry between Marvel and DC. It's so funny to see how petty these executives were in like the 70s and 80s. The book is really, really fun. I would recommend it. I've not finished it, but I know it's good. It's worth reading just for what I have read. So big recommendation there. If you're a comic book reader, especially if you have an interest in the kind of golden and silver age of comics, which is so when I started reading comics in the 90s, the silver age had kind of just finished in the like 80s, and so a lot of the like collected issues that I was reading were from the 70s. So a lot of my original comic book reading is these really old Spider-Man comics by Lee and Ditko and Jerry Conway and all these people. So it was really cool to listen to that audiobook. I think I'm going to do a review on that one because I've loved it so much. But I do need to get out running to finish it. I've got quite a few hours left because it's a long book. So I'll keep you up to date. I think that is everything. Thank you so much to all the other creators who commented on my book tag video this week. So I know that I tagged you, which is why you commented, but it was really good to have a fun dialogue about the stuff that we talked about in the book. Thanks especially to Fede, who's already made his version of the tag, and to Bookstalgic, we've had a conversation back and forth about Brandon Sanderson's books, which it was fun. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more videos from you guys because I really enjoyed all the ones that I looked at on your channels. So thanks again, and I will speak to you guys next week. Have a good weekend.